Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. I'm your host, Jen Lauren, at the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where students from across Turtle Island blend tradition with innovation, shaping the future of Indigenous excellence. Cherokee art reflects the rich history of our people, as these arts are passed from one generation of Cherokees to the next. Laney Cully is a weaver, taught by her grandmother, and as a student here at IAIA, she works to ensure our knowledge and history are preserved for future generations.
My name is Laney Cully. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation from Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I am a basket maker who learned from my grandmother, Thelma Forrest. She was a Cherokee National Treasure. She was a basket maker for the Cherokee Nation.
My name is Thelma Forrest, Thelma Van Forrest from Chewy, Oklahoma.
She grew up in a Lutheran orphanage. She didn't know too much about Cherokee culture. She didn't grow up with it. It was really a big interest for her when she got to be a young adult that she wanted to learn more about it and then do more with it. So she went down to Kenwood at one point and she learned from basket makers over there. And I always remember her telling me that they didn't really speak English, they only spoke Cherokee, and she didn't know Cherokee at all. So they would just sit around and they'd pass materials to each other and they'd teach her. And a lot of, I think, how she was taught was similar to how I was taught, which is you kind of just do it, and then if you mess up, like, your instructor takes it out for you, and then you have to redo everything again. She'd take us to different places. She'd take us to go harvest different materials. I just always kind of was exposed to it as a child, just even being around it before I even started weaving. So in high school, I would help her with some of the baskets she made. Every once in a while, I would do some of the patterns, or she would sit me down at the Cherokee Art Center and we'd take some time to either work on how to finish a basket or how to start a basket, and she would just always kind of show me different ways of making a basket. So I think that was something that kind of helped us bond, and also it was a way to continue an art that she saw as very important, and it kind of passed on to me and my family. A lot of my family worked at the Cherokee Heritage Center. The Cherokee Heritage Center is located in Park Hill, Oklahoma, which is just on the outskirts of Tahlequah. A lot of my childhood was spent going to the Heritage Center with my grandma, my mom, my brother, my cousins. We would all just hang out at the Heritage Center all day. My grandmother, Thelma Forrest, passed away in November of 2024. Over time, I realized the importance of the teaching that she did, the teaching of basketry, and so I know that's something that I'd like to continue doing through my work. I am currently living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, attending the Institute of American Indian Arts, currently getting my degree in museum studies. I've always seen museums as spaces that can really harbor community. And that's not always been the case for museums, especially when talking about Native people. A lot of early museums were collections made by rich people to show the different things that they find interesting in the world. And so many museums that featured Native people rarely had Native voices involved. And oftentimes Native people were erased and said, oh, they're no longer here, but here's all their stuff, and here's their bones. They're not around, but here's the people that used to be in America. There's this big interest in Native people, but not as people, but as kind of relics of the past. I think this school is trying to combat that by introducing different types of Indigenous knowledge or Indigenous methodologies and ways of thinking. We talk a lot about what are the ethical ways to run a museum or run an exhibit or run a collection, an archive, and how can you incorporate Indigenous ideas and Indigenous peoples into that. And I think that's kind of on Native communities themselves to create spaces for themselves and for their own people. And I felt like that's kind of how the Cherokee Heritage Center was for me growing up. It's also kind of a place to educate people and say, we are still here and we still have these different types of arts and crafts and cultures, and we have these different ceremonies and things that we all still do. And this is kind of our space for it.
The Museum Studies program, it not only teaches students how to work in museums through education, through exhibitions, but it teaches them to do it in a way that's really focused on Native culture, Native understanding. Our students now, they're being encouraged to go out to seek your education or seek your experience. Sometimes that meant leaving your home community, leaving your tribe. And it was important to think about the knowledge that you were gaining as a tool that you would be able to bring back home.
Whenever I'm at school, people are like, "What are you gonna do your paper on?" I'm like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "I'm gonna talk about baskets." That's all I want to talk about. Yeah, I think for me, something I think about with baskets is kind of being a part of a tradition and continuing something on. I feel like I've only been able to do so much in the short amount of time I've been weaving baskets, but I know there's so much to always learn about it.
We're at the kitchen at the Cherokee Art Center in downtown Tahlequah. This is where I got a lot of my experience making baskets. My grandma was here a lot, or when we didn't know where she was at, she was here, so they still have all of her stuff sprinkled everywhere. She also still has an old mug with her little name on it. She drank coffee all the time. So yeah, this is probably one of many, many mugs she used. I take a lot of inspiration from what we've done in the past, the traditional patterns, traditional forms, utilitarian designs, but I'm also very interested in how I can create something that kind of reflects myself and my thoughts and patterns. I think it's really important to preserve traditional patterns or common patterns amongst our peoples, but I also think it's very important to come up with our own, because I don't think a craft like Cherokee basketry is done, or we've done everything that we can think about. There's so many things I think that we can do to kind of show our own selves with basketry. Keeping those traditions alive and passing them on further to people who might be interested is something that I also want to keep doing with my artwork.
Well, this one's actually a commercial dye, and so this is a walnut, so it's a little bit more of a true brown, kind of darker orange.
Hello everybody, my name's Laney Cully. I am a basket maker from the Cherokee Nation. So some of the materials I'll talk about are bloodroot and black walnut.
I'm still kind of experimenting. I know when my grandma there, she had been doing basketry for a long time, and so as an older person, she was just always learning and experimenting, so that's still kind of all I'm doing.
There are only so many people that know something. When you hear about elders that have that traditional knowledge and they pass on, you're kind of losing what might be a pillar of knowledge for that community, for that specific craft. My grandma was someone who taught a lot of people in Cherokee Nation, and I could not tell you how many people she taught, because I feel like it was every time I met someone new, they'd say, my grandma taught them basketry. I would want other young people to know the value in teaching and continuing their culture, whether, whatever it is they do, whether it be arts or storytelling or, even different crafts or games. As young people, we should take it upon ourselves to know more about it, to know more about, our tribe's history and our people's history and our family's history and our genealogy. And being a part of a community and a tribe means contributing to it in a way, whether that be through continuing something or teaching something. It is kind of on us to continue whatever it is that we want to see. If I want to say, oh, I want Cherokee basketry to be around forever, I can't just have other people do that. I also need to go out there and teach and help people and talk about it. And so I think that's something that people need to take upon themselves as well.